Do what I say, and don't scream. I'm not gonna rape you.
Girl is 15 years old. He drags her to a nearby car park, forces her to strip, then, after repeated oral sex, proceeds to rape her twice.
How is she?
Pretty shaken. Her mum's with her. They're both in with Angie now.
How long did the attack last in total?
Over an hour.
When he'd finished, he helped put my clothes back on me. He said, "What are you going to do when you get home?" I said, "I'm going to have a bath." He said, "Yeah, you're going to wash every trace of me off you." And he turned around and said, "I just want to kiss and cuddle before I go."
And there were some days, you know, where I could just totally block it out. There wasn't a day that went by when I didn't think about it, but I just get upset in school all the time. And my GCSE results and my schoolwork, I could have done so much better than I did, but I didn't because I just couldn't concentrate. I just wanted to block everything out all the time. I didn't want to think about it because that was my way of coping with it.
Taking into account the age of the victim, what occurred to her, a young lady stripped of her clothing, her dignity and her innocence and held prisoner against her will. An awful offence, absolutely awful.
How many more times have I got to tell you it is not my fault?
You started it.
You started it. Will you stop winding me up?
Brilliant. I fancy going to see that.
No way.
What?
You heard? No way.
What's up with you tonight?
You, that's what. Scream and I'll kill you. Hey! What, leave her alone! She's my bird! She's bloody not! You go telling anyone about this, all right? I said all right. And don't go to the police, or I'll kill you. Understand? Good boy. Keep your eyes shut. I'm not gonna rape you. If you try to run, I'll kill you in one movement.
Two attacks, a mile apart. The offender's description's good for both, boss.
Is that personal description clothing or what?
General description fits both offences.
Any scientific?
Nothing on the first attack. Boyfriend intervened, thank God. With Zoe, it seems he was boxing clever, very forensically aware.
Can I just ask, what's the extent of the attack?
Indecent assault, forced self-masturbation, repeated oral sex, threats to her life if she didn't comply. Everything but rape.
Exactly the same MO as the bank holiday attack on Lisa. We've got a problem here.
I was convinced from the outset that one and the same man was responsible from his behaviour pattern with regards to the attacks themselves, the clothing worn. Southend had a problem of a man with a desire to attack young ladies, and my task was to build up a picture of the offender and arrest him as soon as possible before there was a fourth victim.
I worked in a casino, so I'd been at work all night from 9 till about 3:30, and at 3:30 I'd finished work. I'd borrowed some rollerblades from a friend of mine because I'd always wanted to try, and I thought now it's an ideal time to try when there won't be too many people around and I can fall flat on my face without anybody seeing. And so I thought, on the way home from work I'll just give them a try. I had actually taken them with the intention of rollerblading all the way home, but soon realised that wasn't going to happen, so I had to take them off. I was walking along St John's Wood High Street and I heard someone kicking a bottle right behind me. So I actually turned round at this point to see who it was because it startled me. And there was a man behind me. But at that time there were other people around, so I didn't really give it a second thought. so I just carried on. When I'd walked a little way down the road, I thought I would just stop and check. It's not something I would normally do. It occurred to me that perhaps it would be wise just to look. So I stopped and turned round and scanned the whole road just to check whether he was still there and whether he was actually following me. And I couldn't see anybody. It was completely deserted, so I sort of felt a bit relieved and carried on. The next thing I knew was he grabbed me around the neck.
Give us some money. Put it away.
I think there was a point where I suddenly realised what was actually going to happen, and at that point I decided that it would be over quicker if I just went along with everything that he said without making him angry. I thought it would be best just to do as he says. I let myself in, and my husband was asleep because he wasn't working that night, and I sat there for about 15 minutes, just sitting there thinking, turning things over in my head.
Oh, you're gorgeous, you are. This is so out of order. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Where do girls like you hide? If I had a girl like you, I'd wrap you out in cotton wool you'd want for nothing. I ought to go to prison. What do you think I'd get? 10 years? Anyway, prison's not a deterrent. Doesn't take away the feeling. Besides, Richie's mates will never let him go down. Oh my God. I just told you my name.
Emily?
I was thinking, on the one hand, that I was perfectly all right, that I was safe, I was home, it was all over. All I had to do was have a bath, get into bed, and never think about it ever again. It would all be over and done with. And on the other hand, I thought, if I do that, yes, I'll be all right, but then there'll be other women out there who won't be. And from that point of view, I really felt I had no choice, that I had a sort of a duty, if you like, to report it.
3 attacks in one night. This one's a sick bastard.
Thank God for forensics.
How's the offender profile going?
The Met case has blown the geography wide open, but Simon Reeves is working on it.
Make sure he gives me an update, will you?
There's something else. We know this man. I recognise his script. He uses very specific words. He's using the same phrases each time he attacks.
Call me if you find anything.
I think we should contact Dr. Travers on this one. Well, his psychiatric profile helped us before.
Yeah, do it. We need all the help we can get. Good night.
Well, I think from the moment that we had the link to St John's Wood, the complexion of the whole case changed quite dramatically. It was evident at that stage that we were dealing with someone who was not only a person who would commit offences in very short time, but would also travel quite extensively over really quite remarkably short periods of time. And on that basis, it became a very, very different inquiry.
Because now we didn't have something relatively straightforward, for want of a better word. We had something that was quite complex. And when I started to look at the offences in terms of identifying what were the salient factors, you know, identifying what the benchmark was so that we could actually learn about this chap, I realised very quickly that we had another offence very similar to this on the database that we created for the previous linked inquiry.
Lee, come look at this. A rape in Brighton just a couple of days before Lisa's attack. Sussex mentioned it to me during Operation Catchment. It was the MO that did it. Fits both Southend and the St John's Wood attacks. Don't cry or I'll kill you. This isn't rape. If you scream, I'll kill you.
Same script. Any forensics?
Already happening. Results back within the week.
3 forces. 5 attacks and counting, all stranger rapes. How many more has he done?
I've contacted SO11 at New Scotland Yard. They're looking through their database.
We need the media's help on this one. Somehow we have to find the safest way to flush this maniac out without sending him over the edge and without putting the public at risk. I'll contact Crimewatch, see if they'll do us a reconstruction on their programme. When are you seeing Ray Travers?
Tomorrow.
The
domination and control he exercises over his victims makes him feel good. The attacks wipe out his own feeling of inadequacy, and he feels restored, he feels powerful again, and he needs to feel powerful. He's like a hunter searching out his prey. You see, all the women, the victims, they were all of a similar physical type, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, once selected, he paralyzes them with a toxin of fear. It's fear at their lives. And once the attack is over, he discards them and he walks away until the next time.
What about his tears of remorse? He often cries after an attack.
Yeah, but he's crying for himself, not his victim. It's a subjective reaction to how he feels.
It's as if he wants the victims to like him.
And he needs to be liked. It's all a reflection of his insecurity. And in the same way that his looks are important to him, they help hide his inner conflict, hide who he really is. And I also feel that he has an unusual job. You know, the hours of the attacks, the behavior patterns.
So, who are we looking at here?
Well, it's someone who you already know about. He's on your files somewhere. If not as a rapist, then as something else. His rehearsals, perhaps. His bravado, if you like, worries me. He's upping the ante every time he attacks.
I can't think of anything worse that could happen to a woman and have to explain to somebody, well, I've been raped, I've been attacked. My feelings toward the victims are, I empathise with them. I have to listen to what they've been through. And obviously you can't do anything but feel for them.
Hello? Lisa, is that you?
Basically, their lives are ripped apart.
Where are you?
Their lives are taken away.
Are you on your own?
I just wanted them to know that I would be there if they did need something.
Would you like me to come over?
Do what I say, and don't scream. I'm not gonna rape you. Oh, you're gorgeous, you are. Scream and I'll kill you. Told you.
I'm gonna rape you.
Keep your eyes shut.
If you try to run, I'll kill you in one movement.
SO11 are certain. The last two attacks, when were they? 2 weeks ago. My God, he's live. You realise this changes everything. I'll get back to you. David Bright, please. We'll go and find him.
Possible 12. Definite 5.
North London and where?
Yeah, I understand. So who's investigating them, Essex or the Met? Musical chairs. Will do. Martin?
SO11 have discovered 5 more offences, maybe more. Which really shifts things to the Met. Lee Weavers and Commander Tompkins want me to make contact with the new victims. Get hold of Angie for me, will you?
When we caught this particular character, sooner or later we were going to get him, I needed those young ladies to be able to have confidence in me and the investigating team, to be able to walk into a witness box, because every investigation you prepare for a not guilty trial, I needed them to be strong and have the best support and give the evidence to a court of what had occurred to them. The victims of this particular investigation, they were of paramount importance.
He asked me how old I was. I said it was none of his business. Then he leaned closer to me. Scared me even more. Then he said, turn round. Told me to shut my eyes. But I had to open my eyes to turn round.
Annie, what happened when you opened your eyes?
I saw the silhouette of a man. I think he was white. He had short hair. It was so dark. and the shadows made his eyes look like big black holes.
Because I was involved with so many victims, I took a lot of statements from them. And from those descriptions, I mean, you instantly think, this is a monster. You know, some of the ladies were saying he had huge, soft hands. He gripped me so hard, he was strong. So straight away you build up the picture of this huge monster prowling the streets, attacking women.
Most of you know Detective Chief Superintendent Lee Weavers. Lee will be acting as my deputy on this operation. Detective Superintendent David Bright will be the Essex SIO.
I'm Paddy Tompkins, and as of today, I will be in overall command of Operation Monarch. I'd also like to introduce Detective Inspector Rick Turner, who is the investigating officer in the St. John's Wood attack, and Detective Chief Inspector Alan Ladley, SIO for Sussex. Okay, let's get on. Public safety. We need to warn the public without frightening them. We also need their help in identifying the attacker. Someone close to him knows who he is, be it wives, girlfriends, family. At the same time, we don't want to escalate the offender's attacks. He's frighteningly prolific. 12 attacks that we know about, possibly more. The last thing we need is a murder on our hands. Lee, take us through the media strategy. Crimewatch will be the main focus of our appeal. It's the best forum with which to reach the most people, and they'll also be releasing clips of the reconstruction to all media in time for our press launch, which will be December the 14th, a day before Crimewatch goes out.
Both Ray Travis and myself agree that if cornered, this man may kill, if he hasn't already, sir. I mean, power and control over his victims seem to dominate his MO. At the moment, he seems able to negotiate his offences, but the fear we have is what happens when a victim resists. I mean, to state the obvious, we're dealing with a sophisticated psychopath.
Sophisticated in what way?
Well, from his behaviour pattern at the scene of the crime, he may have previous, but as yet there's nothing on database. But his method of attack is confident, it's well rehearsed. He's forensically aware, leaving the scene of the crime clean, which might indicate that he has prior sexual convictions.
Geography?
Well, hard to say with any degree of conviction, sir.
I thought you were doing more work on that.
Well, he seems to have strong connections in North London, Southend, Brighton. Well, that's not to say he lives there. He could be travelling to and fro, commuting.
Simon, the necessary preparations for the public appeal involve sinking thousands of pounds into the area where we believe he's based. So come the call we're all counting on, we're able to respond swiftly.
Yes, I understand all that, sir.
We need to know you're confident the southeast is the right area for putting those resources into.
I understand the full implications, sir. It's just that I don't want to be pushed into a corner. All I can say is that up until the appeal, I'll continue working on it.
Keep us informed, Simon. David?
We're in the process of re-interviewing the victims whose cases we've just become aware of, sir. Plus making arrangements for 24-hour support for the ladies. I've also made sure that each victim has a programmed mobile phone to contact the liaison officer or myself at any time, and that's just about it, sir.
Thanks, David. One final thought. This is a joint operation. Everyone in this room is responsible for its success or failure. Every day that passes without an arrest is an opportunity for this man to attack again. He's out there now, live.
Hello? What kind? Fresh or frozen? Well, how about minced sauce?
Investigations of this sort are always very intense. All the obvious things like working very long hours under lots of pressure, and everybody's like that. The nature of the offences was absolutely horrific, really dreadful, and everybody involved on it was living and breathing these things. I, like lots of other people, I'm sure at the time, was having difficulty sleeping, nightmares, lying awake at night.
My concern always must be, and was at the time, have we done everything as speedily as we possibly can, as effectively as we possibly can? Because we were conscious at the time that every day, every hour that passed, another woman was at risk because of the sheer prolific nature of the offending.
It was just a normal journey from work, getting on the tube and walking down to my house, which took normally about 5 minutes. So it was a normal journey from work. I wasn't aware of anyone following me at all. When I got to my front door, put the key in, opened the door, and suddenly he was there and he pushed past me through the entrance. But nothing felt unusual because there were lots of other flats, so I just assumed that he was going to one of the other flats. The moment he attacked me, I was in absolute shock, and when he demanded my bank card, I thought I wasn't going to let him get away with it, and I wouldn't give him the money, so I gave him the wrong card number. Strange enough, I gave him a bank number which was 5 digits rather than 4, but he didn't pick up on it, so I gave him the wrong card number. My reaction to the attack initially was complete shock. Why me? What did I do wrong? What did I do to deserve it? Just sort of turmoil, really.
Police emergency.
Hello there, I'm sorry to trouble you. I think I've just witnessed a bag snatch in London.
Okay.
So what happened, he pushed her over, grabbed her sort of by the neck, pushed her into a bush thing, grabbed her purse and just ran. Now I'm not sure whether he had the purse in his hand because she screamed, and as soon as he saw me he just ran. But I want to remain anonymous if I can, and I gave chase to the bloke, nearly caught him, I ran over a fence, cut myself on the fence, gave chase to him, nearly caught him, but no way.
Okay, what road did this happen on?
I don't know, I think it's somewhere near Baker Street Station.
After the first attack, he stole a cash card. He didn't get any cash, but we got this. It's a bit blurry, but you can see how it links in with the e-fit. I think we should use it, sir. It's the only real image of the offender we've got.
Let's keep it up our sleeve. If nothing comes of the Crimewatch appeal, we can always use it at the end of the week.
Tonight, the BBC programme Crimewatch will feature some of the attacks as the police mount a fresh appeal for information.
According to the victims, the attacker could look like this, but there's been another description of a man in his 20s or 30s. He's been assaulting young women for 16 months. Nearly all the attacks happened this year.
Good luck for tonight, sir.
Thanks, well needed. Tonight's the night, Martin. Tonight's the night.
I thought you'd stood me up, Lee.
Christmas traffic. How are you feeling?
Bloody terrified. Hello?
Then we're on.
Sorry, I can't.
BTB and we do your call.
Lee, can you do the honours? Hello? Hello?
Hang on, 1 second. Alan, go ahead. Say again.
1, 2, 3.
Paddy, that was Sussex on the phone. We've just taken a call from an informant who's given us a name.
What?
A man called Richard Baker. His physical description fits the e-fits, and apparently he's got previous for rape. They're running inquiries on him now.
What's Alan's feeling?
Quite a positive one. All the information he's got so far fits the profiles, and apparently Baker's got a girlfriend in the Sussex area.
Anyone tracked down a photo?
Not at the moment. We're still trying to get hold of one.
Where's Baker now?
Bodmin. Bodmin? Cornwall. And the informant also told us that Baker's leaving for Spain tonight. He works as a DJ in Torremolinos.
That would explain the geography and the unusual job.
How soon can we get a team down there?
Lee, there's a production office just through here. Do you want to come with me?
Thank you. I'll be back in a minute, Paddy.
When we heard that the call had come into the Sussex incident room, I immediately felt a degree of elation, a degree of hope, but also a strong note of caution. There was so clearly some good information there for us to explore. But I was also very much aware that Crimewatch was the culmination of our press strategy, and that we couldn't afford to miss the opportunity it gave us to get a clear and comprehensive message across to the biggest possible audience.
David Bright?
David, it's Lee. I've also got Rick Turner on a conference call.
Have we got an arrest plan underway?
David, we don't know what he looks like yet.
The man's got previous for rape and he's about to leave the country for Spain. He needs nicking and he needs nicking now. We can't.
Risk blowing the entire operation.
I'm not talking about charges. Just arrest him on suspicion. Look, if we're wrong, I'll dust him down, personally apologise and get him on the first flight to Spain.
David, we have to be very careful here. There's a lot at stake. If push comes to shove, I'll do whatever we have to do. But this is not the right moment to put the case on the line.
If Baker's our man and he gets away, it'll take years to get him back. In the meantime, how many other victims will there be?
There were strong issues around how we intercepted our suspect, what course of action we would have to take in terms of an arrest and the reasons for our arrest, what impact that would have on the other cases we're investigating, and what our strategy would be beyond the point of arrest.
How's it going? Extreme. 2 charges of rape and 1 of underage sex. Shaping up nicely. How's it going for you, son?
It's looking good, sir.
And transport to Cornwall?
Ever tried flying to Bodmin 2 weeks before Christmas?
I'm sorry, Commander, but we need you in the studio now.
Good luck, sir.
Counting out the BT. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
One of the biggest police inquiries ever is now underway, involving 3 forces headed by a commander in the Met. It's reviewing dozens of offences committed in recent years, and so far at least 10 have been positively linked. They're rapes and other sexual crimes, and though there are differing descriptions, it's now highly possible one man has been responsible for a large number of stranger rapes in London and the south of England. And yes, you'll hear some of his...
Oh, you're gorgeous, you are. If I had a girl like you, I'd wrap you up in cotton wool, you'd want for nothing.
I said, as you're walking away, don't turn round. And I just walked away.
Paddy, these attacks are so prolific, there could be dozens of women who've been attacked and haven't reported it.
That's right, Nick. I would urge any woman who feels that she may have been a victim of this man or an attempted attack by this man to come forward.
This just came through. Baker was arrested in Spain for attempted rape and indecent assault, but the charges were dropped.
Have we got anyone down in Bodmin yet?
Couldn't fly there, but there's a team from Sussex and a team from the Met on their way, and the local chaps are watching his house.
Rick, it's Paddy Tompkins. What's the response like?
We've got some good stuff coming in. Nothing definite, but a number of things looking hopeful.
What's your feeling on this one?
To make charges stick.
For us to obtain DNA, he'd have to be arrested on a serious sexual offence. If we mess up, we'll be compromising all the other offences. That's a hell of a risk.
That was December the 15th when I made the phone call to Crimewatch.
Room for one more, mate?
Yes, jump on.
I'd seen the photo fit come up on the television. I realised that that was my brother Richard. The photo fit was so close, it couldn't have been anybody else. And I knew Richard's history, and I just knew for a fact that it was him. And I was adamant that I was going to make the phone call to the Crimewatch programme, to the police, and I just wanted to make sure that he was caught before he went out of the country.
He's what? What coach? He's sure about that, is he? Okay, thanks. Let the SIOs know. That was Sussex. The informant reckons Baker's on a coach to Heathrow, boarded at Lostwithiel at 10:45. He slipped the net in Bodmin. Let's get this right. If we arrest him, we have to arrest him on something substantial, then we can get local custody. Simon, what have we got?
Well, it's a partial palm print from one of his earlier London attacks. It's not enough to ID him, but we could use it for a match.
That gives us enough time to fast-track the DNA.
Let's get Rick Turner in on this.
Turner.
Rick, it's Lee Weavers. Rick.
I want you to send 2 officers to Heathrow coach terminal and arrest Baker as he gets off the coach.
What are we arresting him for, sir?
The indecent assault on Friday night, the Baker Street attack.
With respect, sir, what if
Rick, if you don't want to do this, then I'll do it myself.
Consider it done, sir. Carter. I've got a job for you.
I didn't actually realise how much I would lose. I wanted him caught, most definitely, but I was also very upset. After all said and done, he is my blood brother, and we were very, very, very close, without any shadow of a doubt. And I lost all that.
Oh, I don't believe this. Phil, get up to the incident room, will you? Find out which bay this bus is coming into.
Steve! Number 13!
Who's bus from Bodmin, mate?
Lost with you all.
Lost what?
Lost with you all.
You sure this is the right bus? What's the number? And then I'll give you a ring. Yeah? Jesus. Everybody's here some Saturday. Great. That's what then.
Excuse me, sir.
018. Yep.
Are you Richard Baker?
Yes.
Would you mind stepping to one side for a moment, please, sir? I'm a police officer.
Oh my God, it's not my mum, is it?
No, it's not your mother, sir. We're investigating allegations of a serious sexual assault. Can I ask where you were last Friday?
Last Friday? It was my birthday. I was in Bodmin with my mum.
I have to inform you fit the description of the man concerned, and I'm arresting you on suspicion of indecent assault.
I'm not going to miss my flight, am I?
You have the right to remain silent.
Right. Thank God. We're on our way. Get your keys. Now we've got to make those charges stick. Call Angie. Tell her to let the victims know.
I was just amazed. You always wonder whether he's ever going to be found. He might walk around forever. And to actually hear that they found him was just amazing. It was brilliant. It was a very good Christmas present.
One black and white long-sleeve jumper. Basildon Hospital Pharmacy, Essex Health Authority, Friday the 11th December 1998. In Essex last Friday, were we, Richard? Or was it Bodmin with Mummy?
Has my solicitor arrived?
Also on the 12th of September, also in Southend, and an hour or so after the attack on Tina and her boyfriend, which we've already been through, you pounced on another girl. You grabbed her around the throat, threatened to kill her, and then dragged her down an alleyway. Was that you, Richard?
No comment.
You subjected her to a degrading sexual assault, forcing her against her will to have oral sex. Then you attempted to rape her. That was you, wasn't it?
No comment.
You're going to sit there and say no comment all day? Don't look at her. Look at me, Richard. I'm the one asking the questions.
I have advised my client of his rights, Mr. Poole. He's perfectly entitled to remain silent, and that's what he intends to do.
Richard, it's Christmas next week. Wouldn't it be nice to go back to these girls with some sort of a gift? Some sort of an explanation of why you did these things. They'd like that. They'd like me to be able to tell them he's admitted it. He's tried to explain it. He's sorry. But you're not sorry, are you?
I've been told that we've got him, you know, he's in. And you want to tell people, you want to tell the victims, we've got this person in custody that we believe has attacked you. But then you're also going to get the question, how do you know it's him?
DNA's come back from the lab. It's positive. It's a match.
I was surprised when he embraced me, putting his hands around my waist. Remember this one, don't you, Richard? Because this is a particular attack. Spent an excessive amount of time with this victim, didn't you? You had a conversation with her, didn't you? She was a nice woman, wasn't she, Richard? She was nice because she spoke to you as a human being. And then, because you liked her, you actually told her your name. Didn't you? You told her your name. This victim was different.
Wasn't she? Wasn't she, Richard?
No comment.
Richard, this is the start of the healing process. Not just for you, but for your victims. You're denying yourself that process, and denying your victims too. You owe them that, don't you?
Can we take a break, please?
Yeah, we can take a break, no problem with that.
Your defence if you do not mention when questioned something you may later rely on in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, Richard, the night of the 13th of September in the St John's Wood area of London, can you give me an explanation of your behaviour that night?
No comment.
OK, Richard, let's go on.
7 of his victims had to give evidence in court. That is an ordeal in its own right. To give evidence in a court that was absolutely bursting with people when you take into account the press, family of victims, supporters of Baker, members of the public, those victims had to go into the witness box and relive their very worst nightmare.
At first I was so wrapped up with actually getting there without falling over and actually sitting down and answering questions and stuff that I'd forgotten that he was even there. And then suddenly there was a pause in the questioning and I looked over and I was really, really surprised. I thought I would recognise him instantly. I thought there would be no doubt in my mind at all. And when I saw him, it wasn't like that. He just looked perfectly ordinary, just like anybody you could meet in the street.
When I saw him, it was just this person I'd never seen before that had done this to me. It was just this feeling of total hatred. He was just a sad, lonely man there. Yet, just normal.
A disc jockey has been found guilty at the Old Bailey of 3 rapes and a number of other sexual offences. Police believe that Richard
What
Baker
makes someone like Baker what he is, behave the way he has, I don't know. It's a mixture of nature, nurture. But he has exercised a choice in attacking the women in the way he did. He exercised a choice when he forced victims to give evidence in court. He will always be in a position to exercise a choice. The responsibility must be his.
If I could say something to Richard now, it would be, I know how close we were, and I know we had some bloody good times. We had some really good times. But I had to do it. Somebody had to stop him. And unfortunately, it was me.
I was struck by Baker's ordinariness when I first saw him in the cell block. And I think the lesson really for all of us is that there are no monsters. There are only ordinary people who do monstrous things.